I think that it's well known and well accepted that life is a bit uncertain, right? You would probably agree with me on that. That, from time to time, things can go really well, and then we can just, through the course of living our lives, unfortunate things do happen. So one could conclude then, and I know I'm being kind of general in my, I'm not being very specific, but go with me because the concept, you'll get what I'm saying. So life is unpredictable, right? And so I think we all agree that life is unpredictable and very uncertain. And I think it's that uncertainty that is what makes religion so attractive for people. Not everyone needs this, but I can see out of that uncertainty, under those uncertain times when people just didn't know how things were going to turn out for them, whether they were going to turn out good or bad, whether it be fortune or good health or whatever it is. I mean, if you just live a little bit, right? If you just live a little bit of your life, you quickly realize how uncertain life is and that we're not guaranteed anything. And so when grappling with that fact, I think that's where people were able to really sell, say, Christianity to other people. Now, I know that's not the only reason why people become Christians. There's a lot of different reasons. I know that's not the only reason why people become religious and become faithful. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think it's that uncertainty in life, that unpredictability is one of the driving forces that causes people to want to go to something that they believe is going to provide them some surety in life. I mean, we all want that. And some people go to money and think that, money is power. And so if they have all the money in the world, well, all the money in the world sometimes can buy you good health, but it can't cure some, terminal illnesses. So, I mean, even that is limited. So I think there is this sense that we have as human beings, this desire for security, that we want to have that security. So I think that's kind of another funny example is like thinking of like God and the Judeo-Christian God, God in heaven is sort of like your heavenly Father. They refer, God in heaven, Father in heaven. That's kind of how he's referred to. Is kind of like this thing that people want to have as adults, and I know kids become religious too, but once you get old enough and if you're an adult and you still continue, it's almost like there's this transference that takes place where people, pray to God in heaven, their Father in heaven, and it's like, maybe they lose their parents or whatever, but they have a heavenly Father that, like their earthly parents, would look out for them, and it's that same kind of idea. So I think that's what most people are looking for. Some people can do life straight. Some folks that are atheists that don't need a belief system like that, although some try to argue, some of the apologetics folks will try to argue that having atheism is like a religion. I would disagree, but anyhow, I don't want to stray from the beaten path. The point of this video for you, what I wanted to communicate to you, is just this idea. I think that life is very uncertain. I think that, I know that. We all understand that we're guaranteed nothing except for, at least in America anyways, death and taxes. That's all we can count on. That's all we're guaranteed. And so it's that lack of surety, that lack of certainty, that lack of predictability in life that I think is what makes religion so attractive for many people, is because religions will provide you with all the answers that you need, and that someone will be looking out for you, so that nothing that ever happens to you will be something that wasn't supposed to happen to you. And it's just, I think that's all hogwash, of course, but I see why it's attractive to many believers and why they would gravitate towards something that they at least believe, in principle or whatever. They at least believe that this is something that this is actually how it actually works, and that someone is looking out for you, and that that they know every hair on your head. I mean, how comforting that would be. I get it. Whether it's true or not is another. I mean, most likely it isn't true, but that's what many believers, and I can't prove that it is true. I can't prove that it's not true, but I do think there's enough evidence out there to lead us to believe that it's most likely not true. And that's just taking a look at the swath of the things that happen at any given time in the world. You can see just how unpredictable life is, and that many of these random acts that happen are just that. They're not ordained by God. They're not part of his divine plan. There is no divine plan, and there most likely is no God, and that what happens to us in life is just random coincidences, random chances. Sometimes, in life you're the pigeon, and sometimes you're the statue, and sometimes we get crapped on, and we have really bad things that happen to us. And to try to gravitate towards or try to reach out for some kind of pillar in your life, I mean, I get it. Fine. If it helps somebody, okay. But just recognize it for what it is. And most likely, that's all Christianity is. That's all that religion is just a pillar that's there, but really there's nothing to it. Now, again, I don't know this, and I could be wrong about it, but when you look at, like I said earlier, anything in the world going on, you look around you say, there's no God controlling this world. There's nothing, all these things that happen, all the innocent lives that are lost, and you say, oh, well, that was all according to his plan or this and that. And of course, Christians have a ton of ways to get God off the hook when bad things happen and say, oh, well, it was all part of his divine plan, or this is the way it was supposed to go, or no, God didn't really want it this way, but he's going to see you through it. I mean, it's all a psychological mind fuck, if you will. Pardon my French, but that's what I think it is. But anyways, this was all about just the attractiveness of having something that you can latch onto in life, say Christianity, and have it be a sure thing. And I think a lot of people, would admit, at least I can, we all want something that we can grab a hold of in life, with all life's unpredictabilities, that we can hold on to and just know that we can count on this one thing. Sometimes we want to count on another person, and we find that person lets us down. We want to count on money or whatever, our health, and there's a lot of things that we're just not guaranteed anything in life. The only certain thing is death. And so when you live in a world like that, I can see why early generations, earlier people that lived, why they would kind of go to the more superstitious stuff, because there was really nothing else other than just you trying to do life straight as best as you could and try to make the best of your life, and okay, well, let's pretend at least that there's some God in heaven that's going to be our heavenly Father, that's going to be someone that's looking out for our well-being, and that, when we all die, this won't all be for naught. It won't be for nothing. There'll be a heavenly after, and we'll get our prize in heaven, and we'll all be rewarded for our good behavior. You get that idea, and you can see that that's most likely what religion turns out to be, whether it be, whether you're a Jew and you're into Judaism, whether you're a Christian or whether you're a Muslim. Not all religions, of course, are the same, and I don't want to lump everybody together, but at least speaking about the monotheistic religions, more specifically Christianity, that's what people are gaining from that, is I think a sense of divine security, I guess, like a security blanket to help them get through life, like a crutch, help them get through difficult times. And if that's all it is for some people, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, many of us understand when religions can become bad. But anyhow, I just wanted to communicate to you all and just share this. I think that's what sells, at least Christianity, is that lack of certainty in life, that lack of security, in a sense that if you put your faith into this, even though you can't prove it, most likely that it's true, and that we can count on this, and that our eternal Redeemer will, redeem our souls when we die, and that there'll be something waiting for us on the other side, because life is so uncertain. Life is very unpredictable, and so people needed these kind of things. And so I think I think that Christianity, at least, was partly birthed out of that uncertainty in life, and for us wanting to go to a place of sanctuary, a place of security that we could go to and look at the chaotic world around us and feel like somebody's gonna take care of us, and that everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. And sometimes people need that. Other people, like I said before, can do life straight and they don't need that. And and that's fine. And I'm not advocating for one over the other. I'm just more, what I wanted to do in this video was just talk about this as an overview, to give you guys kind of the idea that, I think that's what most believers really at their core, that's what's coming from, is a place of insecurity, and they're insecure. and they want that security. They want, like most of us want. It's just what are you going to put your trust into? Some people want to put it into some type of fairy tale, enchanted kingdoms thing. Other people put it into other people. People put it into their jobs. They put it into material, worldly things, whatever. I mean, and at the end of the day, the end game here is security, is certainty in life in a very unpredictable world. And unfortunately, I think that there is none. And I think the best way to go about life is to embrace the suck, embrace the uncertainty, embrace the lack of security in life, and just accept that, you're in the driver's seat, and sometimes bad things are going to happen, and sometimes great fortune will befall you as well. And you just have to accept that life is random and just take what comes your way, and hopefully it'll be mostly good. That's my hope for you anyways. Take care.